I don't know about his publicist to go from Kimmel to GMA, and he must have looked and said, "The Feinbaum Show, what is that?" Chris, great to see you. Thank you for making time for us.
Great to see you, Paul. Been a fan for a while. I'm coming to you live from my 9-year-old daughter's bedroom with a smudgy iPhone. We got mozzarella stick grease on the camera, and the only place I can do this, the wife said, is live from my daughter's bedroom. So this is what it is. This is where we do the bedtime stories. This is where, I have to spend a lot of money on stuff from Claire's and other cheap plastics. And it's good. It's good to see you, F-Bomb.
Well, thank you. You're from Queens. So I guess, is it frustrating to know you'll never be the most famous guy from Queens?
I mean, it's frustrating to know that I'll never be the most famous guy from my high school. I mean, I went to the same high school as Ray Romano. I'll never be, most famous guy on my block. The block that I live on. Kevin James' family lived up this block. John Favreau's from around here. So it's like, it's just, I'm Chrissy almost. I've almost had it in every way, shape, or form, and it's just right there. I'm so close.
Chris, this is a sports show, and I understand you were a pretty good athlete. You played basketball in high school and college. What happened? I mean, I didn't see you in the NBA All-Star game the other night.
Paul, let's be honest. I played Division III basketball, and I sat on the bench at Archbishop Malloy High School. So pretty good, fine, but not even NBA celebrity all-star game worthy. If I would have played in it though, I would have been good for about 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. I do have a bit of a bum Achilles and seasonal affective depression, but I think I would have fought through it all and at least got 5 points on the board for you.
Well, let's talk about your move. I mean, you've got a doctorate in physical education, by the way, whatever that means. And you end up being a comedian. So take us through the matriculation. I mean, you actually studied, you did good work, and then you decided, I need to do something else.
Well, I mean, the matriculation of that all, great word, by the way, is just a lot of disappointment in my mother's eyes. Just watching my poor mother, tell people that her son has a doctorate degree and my son's a doctor and now he's doing comedy and he's a clown, and she'd be embarrassed. She would all have her friends come over and be like, my son's a doctor. He's a real doctor. I'm like, I'm a physical therapist, Mom. I don't know what to do. And she's like, come on, look, my friend Barbara over here. She's got a fever, Chris. What are you going to do? And I'd be like, massage your elbow. I don't know. I'm not a real doctor, Mom. And now, I do comedy, and now things have been better. We got this Hulu special. I'm doing Madison Square Garden, September 11th of this year. So now Mom wants to come to the shows, but she still has made a deal with me that while I'm pursuing this career of stand-up comedy, which I've been doing for 15 years, I have to keep my doctorate degree and my physical therapy license active. So I am technically right now at the moment a licensed physical therapist, and I can tell, Paul, you have some neck pain.
Number 7, herniated disc.
Knew it.
Chris, I know you're going on tour. You've got this special. I am fascinated because I've gotten to know a lot of comedians, and putting the act together. Take us through how you do it, because it getting out there has to be a scary feeling. But if you have good material, at least it won't be a total disaster. How does it work?
Well, here's the thing, is it works by a lot of failure. I mean, you show me a successful comedian and I will show you that they have failed probably 20 times more than they've succeeded. That's just the name of the game. People get so scared of bombing. That's what you hear a lot. Oh my God, I can never do comedy because what if I bombed? What if people weren't laughing? And to be honest with you, it gets to a point in your career where that's the only time you ever have any real fun. And that's the time when you start learning about what works and what doesn't work. I always tell people that, when I did the David Letterman show all these years ago, 2013, 2014, they were watching me perform and they weren't booking me. The bookers were there at the comedy clubs and I wouldn't get the set. The set was going very well. And then one night they come to watch me and I absolutely bombed with this 5-minute set. I mean, 0 laughs, right? And so I called my agent after that and I said, I'm never going to get the show now. I mean, I just bombed. They saw it work so many times and now I just bombed with it. and we're finished. And he was like, well, that's interesting because they just called me and told me you're on tomorrow night. They booked you on the show with David Letterman tomorrow night. So I did the show, did the Letterman show. And then after, I asked the bookers, I said, why did you book me like after that horrible performance? And they said, because we just needed to know that you could comfortably fail. We needed to see that you would professionally fail, because in the if you went crazy out there and you weren't getting laughs, we wanted to know that you wouldn't just self-implode on national television. So I always thought that was a good lesson. I know how to fail very comfortably. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm gonna say it's a good thing.
No, I think Chris, it's one thing to fail during a set, but when you go on a live show, which you do all the time, or Letterman or Kimmel, you have a finite period of time. Take us through that, because that sounds terrifying to me.
Well, Paul, first of all, I also the Paul Feinbaum show. Okay, I mean, let's not sell this short here. We got Kimmel, we got Good Morning America, we got Paulie F bombs, and I'm happy to be here. But if you do bomb, first of all, good things can come from a bomb too. I have within the comedy circle, a notorious bombing story where I bombed for owner of the New York Mets, Steve Cohen, at his 60th birthday party. I bombed for his, I'm talking about a full zero.
Pretty
Okay.
Guy.
I mean, bad. Yep. Steve Cohen bombed hard, where it got so bad where Steve Cohen said, listen, I'll pay you to stop. Whatever the contract said, I'll pay you right now to do less time. Just get out of here. And it went so bad that it actually looped around and turned out to be good, because he remembered me as the guy that bombed his birthday so bad that he had me start coming out to Mets games, and then gave me a couple other chances, and I did well. And now I'm just, friends with the Cohen family. So you can turn negatives into positives.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Cohen's only one of the wealthiest men in America. So at a birthday party, I've read Elton John plays events like this, Billy Joel. I mean, you can. I don't think Taylor Swift's ever done a birthday party. But the point being, how do you entertain at a billionaire hedge fund manager's owner's birthday party?
I mean, honestly have no idea, because I agree with you. I was like, these guys probably want Jerry Seinfeld or like a big time comedian, but it's like, you want me? Like, I thought they were going to sacrifice me.
I heard you talking about this once. You've got a bunch of kids, or I don't know how many, a couple. You're in the bedroom now, but do I understand correctly? With a couple of kids, you just got married. How does that work?
Buddy, some people get married and have kids. I had kids and got married. I'm Chrissy backwards. Sometimes I'm unpredictable. I said, you know what? We have 3 kids. It's getting serious. We've been together for 10 years. And I just said, let's do it. So yeah, finally getting married. And I think, in a way, sometimes I'm like, I wish I would have done this so many years ago. But now it's kind of cool that like a lot of kids will, only hear about stories about their parents' wedding and all that. But now my kids will get to be a part of it and get to have a memory of it. So I think, for me, that's pretty cool.
Is there a difference other than the paying for the license and going through it, and during this 10 years being married and the lead up, the 10-year the 10-year pre-marriage moments?
No, there's absolutely no difference. No, zero. And it's just that now the state of New York owns my relationship. And if anything goes wrong, I'm going to have to start interning for the Paul Feinbaum show.
We're not hiring. The point being, do you get is it too late for a prenup now that you're famous and making a lot of money?
100% too late. 100% too late. And it's also just that. And by the way, I mean, a ton of money. I mean, I'm sitting in my daughter's bedroom. So, to do the show with you. So let's not get crazy. But I would say that it is too late. And it's also, at this point, we got 3 kids. I mean, what am I going to do? Not give you 80% of my stuff? It's like, if anything went wrong, you're just going to have it all anyway. I mean, you got my kids. So like, what's the difference? Might as well just go for it, baby. Let's go for it all. Let's go for the win. Let's go for the 2 points to win this game.
So we showed the Garden. You've got this tour coming up. You got the special. The Garden, though, I mean, I've seen big people there. Everybody who's ever mattered has played Madison Square Garden. Would that be any different than Tampa or Albany or Albuquerque or wherever else you're going?
Listen, I'll have the same crippling anxiety walking onto stage at the Tampa Theater, as I will at the Charleston Music Hall, as I will at Madison Square Garden. I'll be the entire day nervous, chewing my fingernails, chewing my toenails. The difference is Madison Square Garden has been I've only ever had two goals in this. When I started out and left physical therapy to do this, it was to headline Madison Square Garden, which that shows September 11th, and then to get a sitcom on the air about my father. And so that will be the next goal. So if I could bang out those two goals, I honestly, Paulie, I might go back to physical therapy, because I'd be like, I don't know what else I'm supposed to do in this business. I mean, those are the only goals I've had. I don't care about anything else. It's just those things. So I might go right back to physical therapist, and you might see the application on ZipRecruiter to come down and work for your show.
I understand the sitcom thing. I'll tell you that some other time. But I don't know if there's anything more difficult than making a sitcom fly, because there was one on this show that ABC actually bought a couple of years ago, and then COVID happened. Have you ever heard that story before?
Oh, sure. Yeah. The COVID that, you get a sitcom in development, you think it's all going to go good, and then all the network executives get fired or change, and then all of a sudden the new people don't want your show, and it's bad. I mean, Paul, I got to be honest with you. If this sitcom gets on the air, I think I want to throw people for a loop, and I want to cast you as my dad. I want to see you just play Tampa Tony, New York dirtbag coming in. That's what I think.
Well,
that's what I think the show needs.
My father grew up in the Bronx, and my mother's from Brooklyn. I'm a Southerner, but I do know the dialect. I think I can make it happen.
I was going to say, Paul, I know you got the Southern accent, but you can never fool me. I said, my man's a Jew from New York. I grew up around all you guys, Jews, Catholics. We all grew up in New York together. I was like, I know, Paul, I've seen you down at the park. I know everyone. I know your family. I know you guys.
Well, no, and I can't tell you how many times I heard my mother pray for my older sister to marry a doctor. Never happened. She married your typical business guy. And then for me to be a doctor, I disappointed her, but I married a doctor. I showed her.
Smart. Was she a Jewish doctor?
We got married by a rabbi. I'll tell you that story some other time, too.
Dude, there's like 5 stories. You're going to tell me some other time. We're doing the show.
I think I'm going to go into comedy. The rabbi story will kill. I promise you.
No, you're funny. I can tell you got a good sense of humor. You're a funny guy. You're a guy who'd be in the front row. You're a guy who'd be in the front row. You wouldn't laugh just to laugh. You'd really have to earn it with you, and I respect that. I like that.
I'll be in the front row at the Garden in September, and I will not crack a smile the entire time.
Dude, it'll be you and 15,000 other people. Same thing.
Chris, thanks for coming by. I know your daughter wants her room back.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, guys.